What's up YouTube, it's Sight aka eNtaK bringing you a DayZ video. Today's DayZ video is on some random Taviana server. I don't really know what it is, didn't really care to look, I just noticed that it had like 40 some people on it. So I decided to join, see if I can cause any problems or get into any, any firefights or do something weird, I don't know. Unfortunately, it was kind of a boring play as I didn't really do much. I did meet two guys in the game. One guy was just some random friendly, didn't have anything. Another guy was a friendly who had a G36, and he actually told me where another one was. So I went and picked up a G36, and then I found an M9 SD and got hooked up quite a bit in my short little bit of time playing on this server. On the server, Devil Dog Gamer was on there, as well as Marine, his buddy. I'm pretty sure it was the real people. I don't know why you would make two fake names and then be on the same server together. Who knows though, it could have been them, could have not been them. I'm just lucky I didn't run into them, as if it was the real them they would have messed me up, as they are very, very tactical. As I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard and read, there is a new DayZ Tumblr blog post updating a few things and kind of updating the status on the standalone project, and I'm just going to kind of go over a few of those things while you see some gameplay, get some thoughts and give you my thoughts on them, and then hopefully you guys will actually comment and give me your thoughts on those things as well. So first off, there are new models, new character models. The characters are going to be completely different. They're going to look completely different. You're going to actually be able to choose your own race and ability to choose your character customization. They're trying to get so where you have a character that is personally yours. You've put a lot of time into him. You can get different things like tattoos and clothing. I don't know how the tattoo thing's going to work. Are there going to be like an NPC that's going to give me a tattoo, or like you have to get a friend to give you a tattoo? What's the image going to look like? Are you only going to be able to select from certain images? If so, that's not really customization, that's kind of just tagging yourself with something you already have in the game. So it's like, are you going to be able to upload things to be able to use? I mean, it's going to have to change quite a bit in order to facilitate what I think is going to happen, although, they might have something totally different. Who knows? One thing, though, that I was thinking was, if you have the ability to customize your character, is there going to be less likely of a chance to die? Because if you put tons and tons and tons of time into your character, how much are you really going to wind up customizing him if you are constantly dying and losing that character? Now, clothing is a different story, as I'm sure you're going to be able to find clothing and find it rather easily, although I don't know, that might not be the case. But they were talking about how you can use clothing to customize your character, and the clothing itself will have different attributes. And at first, some MMO people be like +5 to strength, but what I think it's referring to is that let's say you have a winter coat and you get cold all the time. Well, with a winter coat on, you won't be cold. You will never get cold or something like that. But they also say that depending on the clothing, there will also be restrictions. So let's say you have a winter coat, but it's like bright white and everyone can see it, so you stick out a whole lot. Another thing too is that clothing is going to have diseases on it. Now, how are you going to be able to tell if there's a disease? Are you going to be able to like scan the item and see if there's a disease? How are the diseases going to affect a radius, an area of impact? Like, let's say, 5 meters close to the thing, you have a chance of getting sick. Like, how are you ever going to know if there's a diseased area or a diseased piece of clothing? So I'd be really interested to hear what you guys think is going to be the result of having diseases and how they're going to implement that, as I am kind of between a few different ideas, and I don't really know if any of them are more accurate than another, or if they're even plausible. If you haven't looked at the images yet, I would look at the images, as there have been some crazy graphical improvement. It still looks like a top-down graphical model rather than a bottom-up, which if you don't really know the difference between the graphical differences, top-down, it looks nice when you're looking at it plain, but when you zoom in it looks really crappy. This is kind of a way to get around the frame rate issue and provide better frame rate and optimization, which is a good thing. That's the way that I would rather have it, but it is a top-down from the looks of thing. But there are really crazy awesome improvements on the zombie models themselves. cars, vehicles, crash things. It all looks so amazing. Interiors look eroded and destroyed, and that is awesome looking. It looks very apocalyptic. The graphical improvements are awesome, and the one thing I'm looking forward to is the optimization. Optimizing the game to where you will be able to play on 1080p and still get 60 frames is what I would love to see in this game. Even on a low graphics card. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't really know. It would be interesting to see the graphical improvements on the character models, how well things flow, and how the ocean, what the ocean looks like, things like that. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I am looking forward to the optimization aspect of the graphical improvements. Again, if you guys haven't looked at the images of the update, look closely, as there's one scene that's like a huge military complex, tons of medical tents. I don't know if it's military or if it's kind of like a hospital type zone where it's like kind of a shelter, but it's Balota. You guys, that's Balota. It is sweet looking. I'm like 98% sure that it's Balota. If you look at the trees and compare everything, it looks like Balota, and that is a huge improvement. So it makes me wonder, how much of an improvement our city is going to get. Speaking of which, it's so cool. The devs are back, you guys. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the devs have been released. They're home. They're back to work, hopefully. But I would hope that they saw, they spent a lot of time with their family first, which I'm sure they did. But they're back, and that means is that one of those guys, they were in charge of developing the city structures, particularly Super Trinars is what they were calling it. So they're going to be back on track to building bigger cities and developing things and making more intricate, more in depth. And I hope that they're making multi-level story buildings and skyscrapers. That's what that would be so awesome. Think about a skyscraper in game, and you have the ability to climb like 100 floors and like snipe from the top of it. That would just be awesome. I don't know. That's just a thought I had. But they're back, and that's awesome to see. I'm glad that they're back. I'm glad they got released. Another thing too that they were talking about in the blog update was that you're going to be able to get magazines, different weapon customizations, weapon attachments, and right now they said that the only thing that they have developed is the magazine. Well, what they go on to say is that each magazine is separate from another. You're not going to find like a full magazine. You might find a full magazine, I don't know, but the magazines themselves will have to be loaded with individual rounds, and they have different levels of degradation, and they can degrade over time. So it makes me think that ammunition is going to be very rare. Actually, that would actually be pretty awesome, as it would change the gameplay and the style of play quite a bit. And the fact that you're going to have to take care of your weapon and do what you can to not let it degrade. And I don't know what that means. If that means like putting in your backpack if it rains, or don't go swimming. I don't know. I have no idea really what that means, or how things are going to degrade, if they're just going to degrade over time, if you're going to be able to clean your weapons. There's all kinds of different things that you can think of that could possibly be a result of your weapon degrading. What are your guys' thoughts on how do you think that the weapons are going to degrade? What do you think is going to happen and will cause those things? Do you think you'll be able to clean it, or if you're going to be able to take care of it? They do mention taking care of your magazines, so I don't know if that was kind of a hint or what. But it will be very, very exciting to see the different changes to attachments and being able to customize your own weapon and having to take care of it, degradation process. So leave me your thoughts. Tell me what you think is going to happen as a result of that. So with all that being said, it's going to be the end of the video. They do mention, they do ask when is it going to be released, and they say they don't know. They're going to take their time. And I feel like that is a great thing to do, as you can make the game perfect. And I'm really excited to see all their hard work and all their efforts, and the final product and how great it's going to actually be. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure to comment and subscribe and like my videos, and I appreciate you guys watching. See you next time.